So if you've been around this channel, you probably know I like to do things a little differently. For one, I don't do donations and I don't accept payments from projects. Your trust in my research and my word is more important to me than a quick buck. Second, when I talk about a coin, it's not meant to be a shilling. I'm not intending that you buy into it. I'm not about to give you a meaningless price prediction. I'm not going to make you sit through a 20+ minute video of a webcam feed in the bottom right corner while I scroll through CoinMarketCap or talk about a project by literally reading off the website. I made this channel because guys like that don't deserve your time, and certainly don't deserve to tell you how to invest the money that you poured blood, sweat, and tears into. No, we keep it real on this channel. No BS, no lazy research, no shady ulterior motives. No matter how many subscribers I get, I still value every single one. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to you. It means a lot to me that you spend your time watching something that I made, so I want to make sure that I respect that. So to that end, let's talk about something cool. Let's try to envision the future. Let's have a candid conversation about what coins are sound wagers for cracking the illustrious top 10. Now let's try to pinpoint exactly what's going to propel them there. After all, crypto is dynamic. What's true today won't be true tomorrow. If we want to assess the potential of these coins and what would make them contenders for a space among the greats, we've got to understand what their killer features are that separates them from their competitors. So we're going to be looking long term here. These are 10 coins that, over an extended period of time, stand the best chance of becoming one of the biggest cryptos. So let's have some fun. Welcome to Ready Set Crypto. This is your brain on blockchain. So revolutionary technology takes a long time to build, and we're largely still in the infrastructure phase. This means that 95% of the current crypto projects will probably fail. The tech bubble was the same way. The companies that died in the late 90s paved the way for the explosion of tech we've seen over the last 2 decades. It's no secret that in order to build a house, you need a good foundation. We first need to build the foundational layer in order for future applications to succeed. Look, I'm going to outright say that this is not a video if you're looking for get-rich-quick moonshots. We're quickly getting to the phase where you're going to want more of those projects that can survive the gauntlet. When institutional money enters this space, they're quickly going to decide what is a legitimate project worth investing in and what is not. And as I said, 95% of the projects are not worth investing in. So we want to look for projects that clearly deserve to be sector leaders. And when it comes to blockchain and distributed ledger technology as a whole, there's only a couple sectors that really stand out to me. For example, platforms will continue to soak up a majority of the total market cap for years to come, which is why investing in platforms is one of the most obvious crypto trends right now. But here's the thing with platforms that no one seems to realize. With a few exceptions, the vast majority of blockchain platforms, smart contracts and dApps, don't offer clear significant benefits against established players in the space. Their provided services doesn't do enough to attract new users, and they don't suggest compelling ways of how they'll attract a critical number of users. I think that it's to be expected that this will result in a large number of zombie platforms serving a small number of users. So this is what we'll see, a right-skewed distribution of users that resembles a hockey stick. 5% of the projects will capture 95% of the users. This is to say that getting into the top 10 is a matter of life and death for these projects. Anything outside of, say, the top 25 is simply not going to attract enough users to hit critical mass. If you wanted to start an ICO, would you choose the biggest platform that has the best chance of you being able to attract support, or would you pick a relatively unknown platform? And look, this doesn't apply strictly to platforms. If you're looking at a digital currency, for example, ubiquitous usage is the only goal that matters. So when we look for projects that have a good chance of breaking into the top 10, it's not because we want to see them increase in price, although it's a nice side effect. No, it's because the current crypto market is a battleground where ideas are being tested and failure is the norm, not the exception. We are looking for longevity just as much as we're looking for upside potential. Once you understand that, you'll understand why this is not your typical shill or prediction video. Okay, I digress. Let's get into the coins. I try to stay away from hyperbole because it's often in clickbait or utter nonsense. But that being said, I genuinely believe that NIGHT will be the leading platform in a few years. Sure, I've been a NIGHT fanboy for a long time now, since they were Ant shares, and it's by far my biggest investment, but there's many reasons to like NIGHT. They have an extremely devoted community and volunteer developer group, many upcoming ICOs that will add to the already robust ecosystem that, importantly, all stand to benefit from each other. And NIGHT is primed to be working with the Chinese government. Look, I love Ethereum and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I get what EOS is trying to do, even if it's not my favorite coin. But NIGHT has the right things going for it that makes it a no-brainer to be playing with the big dogs in the top 5, the 11 and 12 figure Trace Commas Club. Now, as a caveat, NIGHT is staying centralized for the near future until the smart economy is mature enough. Sort of like how IOTA is keeping the training wheels on the Tangle with their coordinator for the time being. Look, some people disagree with NIGHT's stance, but it's undeniable that centralization is more efficient in some instances. After all, that's how the existing systems of the world work. NIGHT is built to be regulation compliant. Ethereum is the Wild West, but NIGHT has been built from day one to work in China, which is a communist regime. It stands to reason that Ethereum will never be accepted in China because the government can't regulate it. So the big thing with NIGHT is its NEP5 tokens. So what's a NEP5 token? Well, a NEP5 token is a token which does not have a blockchain of its own, and instead is created on the NIGHT blockchain. The NIGHT blockchain will process the transactions for any NEP5 tokens in the same way that it will process NIGHT transactions. NIGHT's NEP5 tokens are the Ethereum equivalent of ERC20 tokens. The advantage we're going to capitalize on is that NIGHT is a relatively new project, and NEP5 tokens are a relatively new addition to the cryptocurrency space. NEP5 tokens is the way they're building out the NIGHT ecosystem, its smart economy. A lot of them seek to add functionality to the ecosystem to make it a more robust and intricate organization. After all, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So often we see very ambitious crypto projects that want to tackle the world's biggest problems with blockchain technology, but it's simply insurmountable because you need manpower just as much as you need direction. NIGHT's ecosystem is truly shaping up to be a smart economy because there's segmentation built into the design of it. As I covered earlier, a lot of the NEP5 tokens are going to mutually benefit each other. The majority of them are created to assist or benefit with the overall NIGHT smart economy. And in time, they'll not only interact with NIGHT itself, but each other, and that's truly amazing. So one of the most interesting coins that's being built on the NIGHT platform is Ontology. In fact, Ontology has its mainnet launch in June, so it's definitely one to watch in the short term too. So where NIGHT is a public blockchain aiming to provide a smart economy, it's building up all these NEP5 tokens and services, Ontology is looking to be more of a connector, connecting blockchains, connecting systems, industries, applications, and fundamentally it's more privacy focused. To put it simply, Ontology Network is a connector or mapper for identity services. They can create private blockchains for businesses wishing to securely store data without the public having access to it. And then, what's cool is that they use the connector aspect to share certain parts of that private data. That's how we're used to B2B systems working, and it's why it's critical for Ontology to exist in the NIGHT platform, because NIGHT is a public blockchain where information is a lot more open. So to sum it up, they have fundamentally different focuses, but given they're so intrinsically similar, they can rely on each other to fill in the needs that they're lacking. Ontology is a very compelling project that matches the ambition that NIGHT has as a platform. Not to mention, they're both backed by the same company, on-chain, so you can tell that there's a very strategic moveset here. Another one of my favorite coins and easily a contender for the top 10 is Walton Chain. Essentially, Walton will become the go-to platform for enterprise-level Internet of Things. So one of the most obvious use cases for blockchain is supply chain management. VeChain is currently leading this space in terms of market cap, but Walton Chain will dominate this space in the long term. That's because Walton Chain is much more ambitious than another supply chain coin. What's critical here is that Walton Chain solves the problem of how to incorporate physical assets onto the blockchain automatically with tiny chips. This is through their patented RFID technology, which allows Walton Chain to manufacture and insert their RFID chips into pretty much anything, marrying the digital and the physical Combining hardware and software makes Walton Chain more durable than just about any other blockchain project. And I really think this helps us understand where Walton Chain is going. Supply chain management, authentication and verification systems, and even the internet itself are ripe for disruption. Blockchain technology is that disruptor. It will affect every corner of the globe, and the world is going to be a very different place even 10 years from now. So probably one of the biggest projects that comes to mind is the One Belt and One Road initiative. It's easily the largest transcontinental project in history. It's been proposed by the Chinese government, and it's a trade and infrastructure network comprised of the land-based economic belt spanning all of Eurasia and the 21st century maritime Silk Road. What's crazy is this project covers 65% of the world's population, spanning 68 countries, or 40% of the world's GDP as of 2017. One Belt, One Road already consists of $900 billion in planned investments, making it probably the largest investment drive ever by a single country. So bringing this back to Walton, it stands to reason that supply chain management will be chiefly critical to the execution of the One Belt, One Road initiative. Well, absolutely nothing is confirmed regarding working with the One Belt, One Road initiative or with the Chinese government. The pieces are starting to fall into place, and the partnerships that Walton is building are starting to signify to me that they've got a much bigger purpose than just simply tracking things. You know, one of the cornerstones of the One Belt, One Road initiative is this idea of smart cities and putting to work all this different technology, making it work for us, making our lives smarter and easier. You know, with more connected devices, we'll have more data. And one of the things I see is that in this new information era, data is the new oil. It's the thing that everyone is going to care about. And so finding ways to harness that data, to act upon it, well, that's what blockchain is all about. And I think Walton Chain is one of the most pure examples of what you can do with a blockchain. It's one of the best use cases and executions. And Walton Chain is one of the longest term projects out there. It's got one of the longest roadmaps in the crypto space. It goes pretty much all the way to 2020. So they've got the motivation, they've got a large team, they've got 10 child chains being developed on their platform. They've got critical RFID patents to make it happen. So it's extremely exciting to me to see what they can do with this technology and how they can shape the world with it. Walton Chain is one to watch for sure. Another one that's been kind of linked to the One Belt, One Road initiative is Matrix AI. Now, Matrix is an AI-enabled autonomous self-optimizing blockchain. It uses a self-optimizing AI for automatic security audits to detect errors and exploits in smart contracts before deploying them. This security audit would prevent hacks or exploits like the DAO hack or the current problem with Ethereum where it was possible to generate coins with an integer overflow. If a smart contract does not pass the security audit, it can't be deployed on the blockchain. So what's interesting is they're the sole blockchain and AI partner for the National Government Commissioned Research and Development Center. Matrix AI will act as an enterprise incubator, and that makes it another great candidate for working with the goals of the One Belt, One Road initiative. Another thing that's going to become extremely important over the coming years is digital identity services. And that's where I see the key as being one of the best examples of what the blockchain can do for that. So the key has been working with local branches of the Chinese government and Alibaba. What's cool is that they're under the on-chain NEO umbrella as a Net5 token. And I really think the key can be valuable in the long run if blockchain supported biometric data-based identification becomes a thing, and they can compete against other firms that are building similar tech. Now, it's kind of hard to gauge if they can be truly a top 10 contender, but again, I think this is one of the most important use cases of blockchain, and I think they're really pushing the narrative forward with this space. And as I mentioned earlier, the Net5 smart economy really contributes to the abilities of Net5 tokens. So the key can do what it does on its own, but it can also interface with a lot of the other Net5 tokens like Ontology. I love this sense of interoperability. I think this is one of the biggest trends we'll see over the coming years, is that blockchain projects will become meshed together We'll stop seeing such siloed projects, and things will begin to kind of build off each other. So one of the projects I think that is really leading that push is Icon. Icon is sometimes referred to as the Ethereum of Korea, just like how NEO is referred to as the Ethereum of China. But just like how NEO has different motivations and objectives than Ethereum, Icon stands alone due to the scope of its roadmap. So it's a bit disingenuous, but it gives you a good perspective as to what Icon is, a platform-based cryptocurrency based in Korea. But let's expand upon that. The Icon project is building one of the largest decentralized networks in the world. As their catchphrase states, they want to hyperconnect the world. Icon is a massive scale blockchain platform that allows decentralized applications, interchain or interoperability with other blockchains, artificial intelligence, decentralized exchange, and they're working on an incubator with a lot of projects. So Icon is it's a heavy hitter. It's gonna take some time to really mature, but just like Walton Chain, I think if you expand your scope long enough, this is easily a contender for one of the top spots in crypto. Another project that is focused on blockchain interoperability is ARK. They brand themselves as the platform for consumer adoption. What stands out for ARK is basically their attempt to bring the smart bridge technology to life. Think of it as a technology that links blockchains together. What's nice is it has staking, and unlike EOS, I think they've got their DPoS system figured out. They plan to be an ecosystem of their own, with their own physical card that can be used in malls and restaurants. And they also have plans for optional privacy that will compete with Monero, and a storage function that will compete with Siacoin and storage. So another project that I think is pretty solid, but is another one of those slow gainers, is Request Network. It's not your get rich overnight kind of project, because Request is a network. So it's not really what the dev team does, but more so what the community builds with it. Again, Request Network is a network, and networks take time to build. So Request Network doesn't have much to show right now, but I think the groundwork is really there. You know, their mainnet just went live, and they've got projects being built upon it. So I think in time, it will be something more than it currently is. Another one I think is in this sort of category is Elastos. They've got a goal to create an internet that allows users to access articles, movies, and games directly without having to go through a media player or another platform intermediary. What's really cool is that Elastos will use blockchain technology to issue IDs for digital content, making it possible to know who owns what with digital assets. And Elastos will be a platform for decentralized applications. They'll be able to run on a peer-to-peer network with no centralized control. What really blows my mind is that they've created an entire operating system that will allow people to run these decentralized apps on their mobile phones or computers or whatever. So Elastos wants to make digital assets scarce, identifiable, and tradable. Property rights pave the way for wealth creation, and Elastos intends to build a whole new World Wide Web that respects those rights. Another one of those holy grails in crypto is the idea of transactions per second, or TPS. Now, centralized systems like Visa, which kind of represent the status quo, have a TPS of around 20,000 plus. Given that blockchain is inherently slow, there's a problem of scalability with it. It's one of the biggest problems with blockchain. So right now there's sort of an arms race to see who can have the fastest solution the quickest. And certainly the first project that can beat Visa is going to draw a lot of attention inside and outside of the crypto community. So one of the prime contenders for that is Zilliqa. They'll likely be the first blockchain with live on-chain transaction sharding, which gives them a high, near linear increasing throughput. They've already seen 2,500 TPS on their testnet. Additionally, Zilliqa uses a smart contract language which is similar to Solidity used by Ethereum, but it's safer. For example, the parity hack that happened with Ethereum would have been prevented using Zilliqa's smart contract language. So obviously, Ethereum is working towards implementing sharding as well. But because Ethereum has to worry about updating an existing system, they're sort of handicapped, whereas Zilliqa can design their system in such a way that the more Zilliqa nodes there are, the faster their blockchain gets. If they had the same number of nodes that Ethereum has, they'd be able to process 15,000 transactions per second. What's cool is that in the long run, they'll also focus on blockchain interoperability, and privacy as well. Their mainnet is also due in Q3 of this year, so I'm really excited to see what this one can do. Obviously, it's sort of the flavor of the month right now, so maybe this isn't the best coin to invest in right now, but if they can really nail it, there's no reason they can't break into the top 10. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already in order to continue to see high quality cryptocurrency analysis and advice. Don't forget to hit the bell right next to the subscribe button in order to be notified when we put out a new video. Also be sure to watch some of our other videos and visit our website, where we've got more free cryptocurrency education, a free intro course, a free book, and a free newsletter, so definitely check us out. Thanks again for watching. This has been Ready Set Crypto, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.